What is up, guys, and welcome to my first ever Who Did It Better video on this channel. Today we'll be taking a look at a backside 360 kickflip that has been in two parts at the same spot by two of the biggest skateboarders in the industry. And I am talking about Nyjah Huston in Till Death and Joslin in his Ode to London part. Let's just quickly watch the two backside 360 kickflips that we'll be reviewing and comparing in this video just to start it out. Now that you guys have seen both clips, today we'll actually dive even deeper into them, watching them in slow motion, going frame by frame on a couple of things, because there are some things I want to judge to get our final result of which one's the better backside 360 flip on this spot. So the categories I have written down here is number one, who released it first, impact on me on the release of these videos, the distance and the pop, the catch, which can mean a lot of things, the way they catch it, the way they bring it down, at what point of the rotation they catch it, and the roll away. I thought about judging the filming and the clothes, and I'm not really gonna go super deep into that, but I will give one skater a point over the other. But number one, who did it first, who released it first, who got the NBD and who did the ABD. Nyjah Huston's Till Death part was released on the 28th of February 2018 on the Nike Skateboarding channel. And Joslin's Ode to London part was released on the 21st of October 2017. So that gives a point to Joslin. And that was probably also just the quickest thing to get out the way, because I want to head into number two, which is impact on me personally when this released. So this is of course very subjective, and you guys can argue with me in the comments if you want. But let's just start with Joslin on this point. I'll be honest, when I first watched Ode to London, I thought that, it might have been a bit of throwaway footage from True. I didn't feel like it was as hard-hitting as that part, but at the same time, he's probably just been out having fun, getting some footage, and the stuff is still really impressive. But if we take a look at some of the backside 360 kickflips he's done in the past, after we watched this one, yeah, I think that was a pretty good clip to pivot from, because I don't think that would have been in True, to be honest. Funny how Joslin can back 316 stairs for fun, but when it's like a back to 70 onto a ledge and a tail slide, it seemed very difficult, but that's not what's important right now. So here we got an ollie from True, and then we got this backside 360 kickflip down the rock gap. Fairly impressive backside 360 kickflip if you ask me. But another one that had been released before this Ode to London part was this backside 360 kickflip from Joslin. From the Bones New Ground video, I can't remember the name of it, but we got a backside 360 kickflip down Rincon here. That is insane. So obviously when I saw this backside 360 kickflip, I didn't get that same hard-hitting feeling as I did with some of his past ones. Now let's go to Nyjah, and before we say this, we obviously know that this is kind of like a gapper versus a rail skater, so you might already know where this is heading, but when it came to Nyjah's, I was kind of impressed by that, didn't really see that coming. I mean, we had seen him do it onto a rail at this point, but I think that's way easier for him. So just having to guide the board the way down from the gap there, I was more impressed with Nyjah's than I was with Joslin's. So when it comes to the second category, the impact I had when I first watched these clips, even though Chris did it first, I'm gonna give this one to Nyjah. So currently we are at 1-1, and I actually quickly want to get one out the way. Let's just watch the clips again. And let's focus on the filming and the clothes of our skater here. So Joslin looking very Joslin-y. And Nyjah, it was at a point where I feel like, yeah, I missed Rise and Shine Nyjah quite a bit with the pants and the dreads and all that, but it wasn't on the booty shorts yet. And filming wise, it was both pretty standard angles and, just following along. But Nyjah was in Till Death, the Ty Evans. He was really experimenting with lenses and filming and all that. So I'm actually quite pleased with how that clip turned out in the video. I am going to give this one to Nyjah as well when it comes to filming and clothes. But I'm only going to give him half a point because this one was pretty close, to be honest. So right now, Nyjah is in the lead, but let's move into distance on the trick. And you know what? Let's start with Nyjah. And there's actually not only how far they're landing, I also kind of want to judge at what point are they going over this, like what me and my friends call a Kali gap. I don't know if that's the actual name, but a bank and then over the flat part up top. So I definitely want to see where Nyjah is landing at this point. So his front wheel touches down on that line right there. It seems like he clears it by a lot, which is also really great. But it also seems like he's going straight at it, which might be easier since he is goofy-footed. But I'm definitely going to remember where his front wheels lands right there. And there's a bit... it's very close with the heel tap, but nope. Seems pretty good. And then let's check out the distance on Joslin. So the problem with this one, and where my distance point giving is going to go down a bit, is actually, it looks like he's coming off to the side of it. As you can see, the line there that keeps going from the actual launch ramp or gap or whatever you call it, he's landing next to that, which I don't really like. There's just something mental about that I don't really like. But he does clear the line that Nyjah lands on. Actually almost with his back wheel there. And then, you know, classic Joslin roll away right there. We'll get more into that in a sec. But I think personally, because this is me judging this, and yeah, please roast me in the comments, but I am actually gonna give Nyjah some points for going straight over the gap. And I'm gonna take some points away from Joslin because he kind of went to the side of it. I don't know what it is, but in my mind, it's just like, it kind of seems like they tried to hide it with like filming straight on the spot. So it's kind of hard to see. But if you would have watched that straight on, it would be kind of like, well, the gap doesn't really make sense at this point, in my opinion. So I am gonna give Nyjah an 8.4. because he still cleared the gap by quite a lot, and he landed straight off it seemed like. Whereas Joslin, I am gonna give him a straight on 8. I just quickly want to jump in here because I know a lot of you might be a bit confused about how I'm giving this one to Nyjah, but it's not just simply measuring the amount of distance they traveled. It is my personal opinion to the way they travel distance. If that makes any sense. I know it's kind of hard to fathom because Joslin did go further over the line, and he actually did it in a slight to the side trajectory, so he actually went even further than that, which is very impressive. But it's just my weird mental mind, and that's why I obviously want you guys to judge all of these categories as well and let me know where you kind of disagree in the comments. But this is just my weird mind that was more impressed with the way Nyjah traveled distance. Oh my god, let's get back into it. It does sound kind of mental now that I'm hearing myself say this. I hope you can kind of follow, but alright, let's just look at the pop. And with pop, I obviously also mean just height of the trick. And I think backside 360 kickflip is a really hard one to actually get up into the air. But Joslin definitely like launches up from this ramp, catches it quite high up. About the wall ride marks there, that's pretty impressive. Now, I am very curious to see how Nyjah's is compared to that. Oh, I like that you can kind of see where it flicks off the board. But I would say actually pretty much the same, maybe a little bit lower. But obviously he doesn't go as far, so when it comes to pop and height, we might have to give him a slightly lower score. I am going to give Joslin an 9.3. 9 club. And I'm gonna give Nyjah an 8.9 because it seemed like he went pretty fine up into the air. And maybe he could have just went a bit faster to go as far as Joslin, but I feel like Joslin's pop might have also helped him get a bit further. It's a tough one, but 8.9. I'm glad I'm not a judge in these situations. God damn, this kind of feels awful. That might be the last time I'm doing one of these videos. But next up, we got the catch, and I guess you could kind of count the flick into that a little bit. We'll actually do that. So I must say, Nyjah's flick is kind of interesting because he flicks like straight off the nose there, and then his foot kind of goes back a little bit. I tend to do that a lot on my own kickflips, and I don't really think it looks good, but he gets around to it pretty nicely right there. And here we see the catch. Very boned, very back foot heavy, And it seems to be a little over 180, which I really like on backside 360 flip kind of tricks, cab flips as well and stuff like that. So the other foot kind of catches on right here. And yeah, we're definitely over 180. And it is guided very nicely down. Doesn't really get off the feet. A little bit of the front foot at the very end, but I think that is completely fine. Actually, a really, really nice catch in my opinion. And now for Joslin's, and this is another point where I might sound a bit crazy because, you know, normally I would prefer watching skating of Joslin way over Nyjah because I kind of have a fear of handrails. So I've always been way more into gap stuff, but just, oh, okay. Right around here it looks a bit weird, but that might be the angle. I actually think Joslin kind of does the same technique on the flick there. Pretty straight off the nose, and then it kind of goes back a bit, which can look weird, but he comes around with the foot nicely after that, and then the catch is also back foot heavy. But here's where I'm gonna sound crazy. I think Joslin is just so good at blasting off ramps and so good at backside flips that I think this kind of looks like a backside flip late 180, and that is not normally something I really like, but as you can see here, he's actually caught a pretty good backside flip here, and he kind of stays in a backside flip rotation for a while, and then the last 180 is very late in my opinion. He does follow with the feet nicely on the board, but I kind of think that looks weird. That's why I've always really liked Chris Coles, because I always feel like he always goes like over 180 with the catch. I actually really want to see on his Rincon one, is it the same thing? Because I don't feel like it was. I feel like this was more like a back 3 with a kickflip instead of like a backside flip with a 180. Yeah, see, I would say still kind of in flip mode at this point, but he catches it. I would say he fully catches it around... Yeah, it is pretty close to 180 to be honest, but I feel like it wasn't really a late 180. It was still like all one back 3 motion. This is the tough one, but when it comes to the flicks, I think they're pretty identical. So we're just gonna scrap those. But the catch is very important to me, so I'm definitely gonna give Nyjah a higher score because I really like the way it went over 180. It was boned. The back foot caught it first, and then the front foot kind of guided on, and it all seemed like one motion. So I'm gonna give Nyjah a 9.6 on this one. Personally, it's pretty much how I want a backside 360 kickflip to look. 9 club. Joslin's, however, as I said, kind of just felt like a big backside flip to me, and then it's like, yeah, let's get a late 180. Catch was fine, but yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an 8.3 for me. And now for the last one, which should be kind of a quick one. It is the rollaway. So let's just watch Joslin's in real time here. Yeah, I think he came pretty good out of that landing. Not too much hassle. His body kind of had to adjust after rotating 360 degrees. But pretty casual. So Nyjah's, I mean, it does seem like it's way more centered under him. So, yeah, I actually really like this landing. He kind of had to adjust from spinning 360 with his arms as well, but Joslin's was way more, which sometimes I actually like that style-wise. But here I feel like it was just perfect little amount of like, yeah, let's land and raise ourselves back up. I hadn't thought about all of these things before filming this video, and it's crazy to me how I'm really siding with Nyjah on this one. But I mean, none of them are like a Gino or a Mark Johnson, so we're obviously not gonna go up in that height style-wise. I think these were pretty standard landings, but I'm gonna give Nyjah a 6.2, and I'm gonna give Joslin a 5.9. Calculator time. So after quickly adding these together on my calculator app on my phone, we have the results, and yeah. Joslin got a 32.5, Nyjah got 34.6. So I'm actually siding with Nyjah on this backside 360 kickflip, which is crazy because he didn't go as far, but just a lot of things that really weighed up. Where some of Joslin's things kind of weighed down for me personally, but I would love to know how you guys would have scored this. Just, you know, if you're not going into details like that, which one has you more impressed? Or which one do you think looks better? I don't know. It's just kind of a fun video, you know, two juggernauts in skateboarding. It doesn't really matter at this point. None of them are gonna watch this video. It's just fun to analyze skateboarding every now and then, and I don't do it this detailed often enough, but it was actually kind of fun. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until the next one, have it good. Peace out. Okay.